So you mentioned the banking crisis and the AIG crisis. Congress, the United States, at least on the federal level, seems to be stuck in this cycle where they can only react to crises, and that they don't really legislate or regulate before these things happen.
Right.
And I think a perfect example of that is the Senate Banking Committee under Chris Dodd for the past 10 or 12 years. I think he's had that chairmanship.
Well, yeah, I think you nailed it. I mean, you've nailed it. What you want to do is you want to go back and look at the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act in 1999. You go back and you look at Byron Dorgan's quote on the front page of the New York Times, right? You go and look at what Russ Feingold said. You go look what a bunch of progressive Democrats said. They literally said, and it's no one's opinion, you go pull the New York Times from that day, they said this is crazy. We are literally repealing the protective measures that FDR's group of folks put in place. We're literally tearing down the protective measures which have protected Americans for decades. And then you say, why? Like, why did that happen? And then you go to what is, other than our website, what is my favorite website in the whole world, opensecrets.org.
It's a dangerous website.
It is a dangerous website. That is a website that people in Washington don't want you to see.
No.
That is, it's brilliant. You go on there, and what they've done, obviously, is they've essentially cataloged all the Federal Elections Commission filings. So you go for Senator Dodd, and you look and see, holy moly, he's received nearly $50 million in contributions in his time in Congress. He's been there almost 40 years. And then you go and look and say, wow, he's received $15 or $20 million of contributions from the financial services industry. And you think, wait a second, isn't he supposed to regulate them? And so think about a judge, right? Think about, hey, you get a speeding ticket. The judge, you're going to give that judge about $10,000, $15,000. How about this? How about you give the judge $20 million? Now walk me through the judge's mindset. Are you going to get any jail time for that ticket? I don't think so.
No.
No, you're not. Why? Because you bought an outcome, right? And the reason that corporations pay Senator Dodd millions of dollars is because they buy his vote. They bought and sold him. That's why they do it. I mean, they're corporations. Obviously, they want, expect, and get a huge return on the investment. That's the culture of corruption that I talk about every day. And that is what has to change if we're going to make the government work for the average citizen and be proactive rather than reactive.
So what do you think will be the major challenges for the 112th Congress? And if elected, what would be the key issues that you'd like to work on? Yeah, well, the first thing I would work on is the Employment or Reemployment Act for the American people. And we need to get this state and this nation moving again, right? There's the best social welfare program ever created is a good private sector job. You got to do a series of things. It is shameful if you look at the area around Yukon. Why is there no Silicon Valley around Yukon? Why is there no research triangle the way you see in North Carolina? Why is there no high-tech corridor? Why doesn't it look like the area around Cape Rouge, England, when I go there and see all these high-tech centers set up? Why? Because there's no leadership. Why? Because if you look at someone like Senator Dodd, these people have never had a private sector job, let alone created one. So what you've got to do, and this is the unique experience I bring because I've been out there creating jobs year after year after year in the private sector. You have to say, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to leverage off of our strengths. In Connecticut, that means our higher educational institutions. It means also the financial services sector. We've got a lot of dollars there. You got to bring those two things together. What you got to do, if you look over at the Mansfield Trading Center, right? You look at that facility where it was. We absolutely should develop that into a high-tech park. There's no reason we shouldn't be building companies out of this university. There's no reason we shouldn't be bringing companies in, recruiting companies in. There's no reason we don't have that, except for the fact that the people who allege to represent us in Washington, they don't have any idea how to do that. That's not their focus. If you haven't come from the private sector and haven't created jobs, how would you know? I always say, it's like sending your kid to the beach where the lifeguard doesn't know how to swim. And then you wonder, gee, why did we get a bad outcome? How could you have gotten any other outcome, right? I mean, if you never created private sector jobs or sweated payroll or built a company, how the heck would you know how to do that for other people? I know.
You wouldn't. Well, most people wouldn't, right? I mean, look, if you said, hey, Merrick, speak Chinese to me, I'd say to you, I don't know how.
Right.
I've never been trained. I've never done it. I don't know how to do that. So why fake the funk? Why do we have these guys stand in front of a camera and try to look like smart guys when they have no idea what they're talking about?
And so That's a good point, actually, about creating jobs. I mean, if you've never done it before.